Hi everyone, I want to show you how to make a probability histogram. I'm going to do it in Excel, but it works just the same in Sheets. So I'll just go ahead and show you how to do it in Excel. So here's the idea. Let me share my screen first. So let's say let's say I want to find the binomial probability for different outcomes, right? So let's say I'll use my LeBron James shooting free throws example from the binomial video. So he could make 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9 or 10 free throws in 10 attempts, right? And we said that there was a 74% chance of him making any one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in equals binomial distribution of so numbers. So the number of successes is going to come from this cell here, right? So A2 is going to be the number of successes, A2. The number of trials, he had 10 shots. Probability of success was 74%. And I don't want cumulative. I want to do each one separately. So cumulative is false. All right, and so this right here, notice that it's picking A2 is the number of successes, right? So there's that one. Oop, no, cancel that. And I can do the same thing for this one, right? I could type in the same thing again, but I want to show you something. There's this dot here in the lower right hand corner, which is the fill command, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it here. Notice that I'm on the like, let me show you something. So when I'm just mousing around in general, I have kind of a fat plus, right? Like it's got my mouse cursor is kind of a fat plus. But when I am over this, when I'm over this part, I get a skinny plus. And that skinny plus, when it's in that mode, if you click and drag, it will fill the same command to all the places you drag it to, with one exception. If you have a cell name, so for instance, notice that this one here is A3 instead of A2, and that's because it's in cell B3. And this one is going to be A4 and A5. So what it'll do is it will fill, like since I filled down, it assumed that I was trying to draw from the next one down in the X column as well. It wanted that in the formula, which is super useful, right? So I didn't have to retype it every time. I didn't have to put A3, then A4, then A5. I could just fill down and it worked nicely. The Excel is kind of dumb about this. Like it does exactly that, even if you don't want it to necessarily. So if you wanted to, like, let's say I wanted to do, let's say I wanted to make it all from A2, right? I for whatever reason, I wanted to use A2 every time. So what you can do is, I believe it is this. Put a $sign in front of the thing that you want to fix. So if I wanted to fix the 2, right? So it's still there. Now if I drag this down, it should fix that 2 and use only the 2. Yeah, I get the same number every time, right? So you can use, if you want to use the fill command, but you don't want something to change, you can put a $sign in front of it. Now, I do want it to change, right? I actually, oops. Oh, I did that. I did everything wrong. Everything's bad. A2. No. All right. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling this. A2, there we go. Okay. So there's this one, and then I'm going to fill this down, and it'll go back to the way it was. There we go. Good. Anyway, the whole point of this was I wanted to show you how to make a probability histogram. So my binomial probabilities here are these guys. These were all the probabilities for that example of LeBron James shooting free throws from the video. So if I want to make a histogram, I would do the thing you always do to make a histogram. Highlight the stuff you want, go to Insert, charts, it will default to the thing that I want, which is probability histogram, and we'll say okay. So fantastic. So this is the probability of LeBron making X free throws in 10 attempts. There you go. Right, and it's so this has all the probabilities in it. And one thing that's nice about Excel that Sheets doesn't do very well is Excel lets you add data labels if you want. Right, so let's do that. And here's a neat thing. It'll change this as you update these, these with different formulas if you want to. So for instance, let's say, click this and go to format cells. And let's say I didn't want that many decimal places, just let's say 4 decimal places instead. It'll change them in here. This is a thing that Excel is really good at, by the way. And if it was, what do I want to say? Like, let's say LeBron improved his free throw shooting, and instead of being 74%, it's 80%. We can just change these and it will, it'll update the chart, which is pretty neat. I actually really like that about Excel. Yeah, and so that gives the updated percentages. Yeah, you can do the same thing with Poisson. So let's say I have something that's got a Poisson probability. So we'll Poisson dist. Oh, is that not a command? Oh, it's Poisson dot dist, isn't it? Dot dist of say X is a 2. And let's say we have I don't know, mean of 3 and cumulative false, right? So you just put in lambda there instead of which did binomial, and it will give us that same thing, right? And if we fill down, it'll update just like binomial did, and then we can make a histogram with this. Right. Remember, I'm control clicking there. I don't know if you guys remember that from the first video, but I click to select column A, and then I hold control and click to select column D, and it'll select both of those without getting the ones in between. And I insert a histogram. And there you have it, right? Same thing. You can put on your data labels if you want to. Can say, let's say I wanted to make this look a little different. I can change the color. Fill instead of being blue, it can be yellow. Bam, unreadable. Whoops, that's not. I want all of them. I want to select all of them. Anyway, yeah, there we go. All right, we'll make them all yellow. There you go. That'll burn your eyes. Okay. Anyway, that's how you make a probability histogram. You can just use the fill command in Excel or Sheets, and it'll make one for you. It's really convenient. It's a thing I ask you to do in the homework, because I want to get everybody used to the idea of probability being represented pictorially, because that turns out to be a thing we do for the rest of the semester, is describe probabilities using charts and graphs that look sort of like this, basically. So seeing this early on is, I think, a good thing. Anyway, that's how you do it. And that's all I wanted to say here. This was the thing I asked you to do in the homework, and it's the thing I'll ask you to do again in future homeworks. And so I figured I might as well show you how to do it now. So there you go. That's all I wanted to say, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.